The Etobicoke Lakeshore podcast is underway. Welcome back, neighbors. I'm Mike. There's your host and publisher, Roger Tumanieri.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, bud?
Excellent. How are you?
We have a guest coming in today who will join us, and as we had one last week, that was very interesting because it ties into this week's show. You probably noticed in the title, we are highlighting the new edition of the magazine.
That's right.
March is on the shelves. And last week we had the opportunity to speak to Amanda, who is on the cover.
She is, yes, Amanda Kirkland. She owns Blue Concierge. She's also a new resident in Long Branch. She moved here from Liberty Village not too long ago and is starting up Blue Concierge, which is a business, if I could boil it down to distill it, to help make people's lives easier. To give them that much needed time that people lose with just going through the daily day of busy life.
There's so many layers to what needs to be done. If you have a small business, or you're an executive, or you're just trying to manage, even a medium to large size family.
Oh, for sure.
What she offers, very useful stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we think about Jenny Shearman, who's also been on the show, and she does pretty much the same thing. I would recommend you check out Sweet Beet because, once again, getting healthy meals into you as a parent, trying to keep your head above water, she's got some solutions for feeding you, too.
She does, yes.
So that's previous issues. Let's have a look in a second here at what's in this month's edition. But I will tell you, please subscribe to the show. Don't hesitate to tell a friend. And we would love to hear from you. If people wanted to reach out, where could they do that?
Oh, they can find us online at Etobicoke Lakeshore Press.com.
By the way, today's Etobicoke Lakeshore Press publication reading, our little highlight,
yes,
will be done digitally.
Yes.
It's my favorite way to actually look at the mag.
I know. You say that all the time, and I appreciate it.
I do love it.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different way to consume hyperlocal content.
Okay, so this month we've got Amanda on the cover. What is between the back and front covers?
Yeah, well, this is the 2020 Celebrating Women Entrepreneurs edition. So, Yes. In my publisher's note, I write about the fact that, producing this publication every month gets me out on the street, gets me out talking to business owners along the lakeshore and across South Etobicoke. What I notice is that a lot of the small businesses in the neighborhood are owned by women. And so this is partly my way of trying to discover why that is, and also to shine a light and highlight their contributions to our community. So, like you mentioned before, our cover feature is Amanda Kirkland of Blue Concierge. Mm-hmm. But we've also done several other features within the publication to highlight other local women entrepreneurs.
It's funny because we always get a different perspective in these interviews as well. Practicality of entrepreneurship. In other words, Sweet Beet, as an example, Jenny's company, a very interesting business that services from the mindset of a mom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you take a look at Amanda Kirkland's business. Blue Concierge is another great example of, okay, from necessity comes this idea for a business that I have that literally can, on a targeted basis, really help moms manage a household and a life in a more enjoyable way. So it's a different perspective than many other businesses that, for example, you and I might come up with. I'm podcasting. You're a publication.
Right.
So,
who reads my publication? Moms,
right?
Right. It's the toughest job. I say that in all honesty. My wife, Jessica, is a stay-at-home mom. Yep. She's raising our two boys, Luke and Jackson. And I joke that I go to work to relax.
Yeah,
because she's, from the second they wake up till long after they go to sleep, it's go for her.
It's funny because if you think of little humans as businesses, your wife is collectively you're running two businesses, and you've got a third then to go out there and run as well.
That's right.
Well, she's there juggling two businesses of her own, two very active businesses. So it's very interesting to me that this publication, this month's edition, comes at it from a perspective of a tip of the hat to women entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
That's very cool. All right, now let's do this. As always, got a wonderful guest in the studio. We always learn something great about the neighborhood and, frankly, about the community. and the people in it.
Right.
When we talk to these businesses, who's our guest today?
Today's guest is Mark Johnson. He's the owner of Ed's Real Scoop in Mimico.
Okay, so Mark owns Ed's. I have to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
There's something to that, I'm sure. But I do know this. It is a fave in the neighborhood.
It's my favorite.
I would have
Many
to
others' favorites.
Yeah, if you like ice cream, you've come to the right place.
And
Mark?
it's not just ice cream.
No.
No, there's more than ice cream, but the ice cream itself is, it's handmade, it's artisan. If you're an ice cream aficionado and you haven't been to Ed's in Mimico, you got to go. All
right, let's find out more about Ed's. Mark, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, there it is. You got a great guest here, and he's already got a better voice. Can we have to do some sort of audition process?
He needs his own podcast.
Yeah,
clearly, I should spin off right now.
That's right. What would you call yours? The scoop. There you go.
Oh, I like
that.
Nice. 2 scoops of fun. I don't know, something.
Speaking of fun, I think that you are one of the centers of fun in the neighborhood in Mimico, huh?
I like to think so. I certainly have a lot of fun there, and I'm working, so you can imagine the people coming to me.
How did you end up doing this?
It's funny, my very first job was working for the original location, Ed's Real Scoop in the Beaches, which has been there for, I think, maybe 20 years now. I grew up across the street from the man who started the company, Ed Francis, who is a legend in his own right. I mean, I learned a lot from him. He was my mentor and just a very interesting human to be around. And he gave me my first job. I was, I think, 16. And I went down to scoop ice cream just to make money for the weekends. Nothing serious. I think it was, just to try it out. And he was a family friend, so I spent about a year there scooping ice cream all through high school. And I left, went to Halifax, lived there for a while. Got many different kinds of jobs. I've been in everything: construction, baking. I've tried as many jobs as I possibly could, especially when I was younger. And I remember coming back to the city of Toronto, I think it was 2012 or so, and I said to myself, man, the best job I ever had was scooping ice cream for Ed.
That's so funny.
And so I thought, you know what, like, I'm back in the city, I might as well try to get a little bit of work going. Talked to Ed, said, do you need any help? And he said, yeah, actually, I need more than just a little help. I need somebody to help me make the ice cream. So I went down and I learned from him how to make it, and this is homemade ice cream, so it's a bit intense. You can't just, read a label and try to figure it out. And he taught me how to make chocolate, how to make fudge, how to make all kinds of stuff, how to run a store, how to run a business, really. I was really trying to help him in terms of just management. Because as you guys were talking about earlier, small businesses is just running around nonstop, doing absolutely everything, wearing every single hat.
So this guy made the ice cream for the shop, ran the shop, and made all these other different treats from scratch, and then also became a really big name in the Beaches.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a heavy labor intensive existence.
Yeah, we didn't see Ed for a while. When he first started the store, he was disappeared from the block for a while. He was always toiling away, but he loved it, man. He put a lot of passion into that craft, and he was inspired from his grandmother from Ohio, who used to make treats for him and his million siblings all the time. And she would do that old-fashioned, homemade, really old-school, pound of sugar per recipe kind of old-school sweet. And he really wanted to tap into that and bring that to Toronto, which at the time there really weren't that many options for that sort of thing. I mean, this was the time of Dairy Queen and Baskin Robbins being on every other block, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure you can remember.
And
kids
it was never great.
It
was never great ice cream. Like there was never, Dairy Queen had its time and place in my life.
But it doesn't blow you away.
No.
Like the ice cream that Mark serves.
Yeah. Like it makes a difference to the whole experience, right? And even Baskin Robbins, they tried it because they would put it in a display case, but it was just mass produced.
And it's not too different. And especially if you go to Baskin Robbins now, you'll notice it's, a lot more artificial colors, a lot of that sort of thing. And
what I'm about to say, it's not going to be nice. Baskin Robbins is still around. I honestly haven't seen one in years.
Well, that's the great thing about it. I mean, like when Ed started, it was around, and it was a DQ on every neighborhood. It is hard to find now. You're right. And that's a good thing. I mean, there are more artisanal ice cream shops, more artisanal shops just in general in Toronto for every kind of food. And a lot of people ask me about that, and they'll say, oh, so-and-so moved in down the street. Are you worried about that? Or is so-and-so a competitor? And I just think, no, like the past 10, 20 years, ice cream and it's just all that kind of stuff has gotten so much better in this city. That's good for me, you know?
Yeah.
I love seeing artisanal gelato shops and ice cream shops everywhere here.
So if somebody likes it and they're in the beaches and then they're out of Mimico, they're more likely to take on a boutique, on a more artisanal
Absolutely.
shop, whether it's ice cream or whatever. They've taken the risk and enjoyed it and went, oh my goodness, this is really how I have to go.
Yeah, and they become knowledgeable, you know?
Yeah.
People start to learn, that's if you make pistachio ice cream with real pistachios, that's what it should taste like. You know, that's not everybody I think can tap into that, especially if you really have just grown up with the DQ Baskin Robbins thing. But you start to become a bit of a connoisseur and you get that, you know, highfalutin opinions that are ultimately good. I mean, it raises everyone's awareness about what a good product should be. And it keeps me honest, that's for sure.
What has changed since you were first scooping about how you do things now?
The biggest thing is actually not ice cream related. It's cash. People don't pay with cash anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I started, it was like maybe 2000 and I don't know, 3 or something like that when I first started scooping ice cream. And it's this cheap product. It's, you know, $3-4 for a scoop of ice cream. Everyone would pay cash. And nowadays, if my debit machine goes down or anything like that, it's pandemonium. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody is ready to pay with not just card, but phone, watch, shoe, I don't know, anything.
You know, it's so funny.
You know,
I'm so old school that I actually do carry cash on me on occasion,
You
right?
do? Yeah.
Try using it. It's not
No one
easy all
takes
the
it.
time. No, it's
Yeah.
it's a
What is
different
that?
world. You're right. How do you guys deal with that then from a business standpoint? Is there a cost to that normally or previously wouldn't have been there?
well, I mean, you know, like I said, I have to have my debit and credit options ready to go at all times. The machine definitely need to be function. And it saves me a bit of time, actually. I don't have to go to the bank as much. Don't have to change as many coins. Don't have to pick up bills or anything like that. It's just a little freaky when you realize that, gee, if the internet goes out, are people going to be able to pay at the front register? Which is an odd thought to have.
You know,
but-
that's the day that you have to be like, all right, what do I need painted around here?
yeah,
Does
that's
anything
right.
need washed right now? Because I want you to have your ice cream, but you can't pay. So it's beautiful that the old world meets the new world, where artisanal homemade ice cream could be held up just for a moment by the internet being down.
That's right. Yeah, and it's happened before. It's an odd spot to be in. That's for sure.
What about the neighborhood do you love the most?
It's great, man. I've actually haven't lived here that long. I think I've lived here maybe 4 years, and
You live close by, right?
I live.
You have a very short commute.
I live very close by. I live on top of the store,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which is why I wear this T-shirt literally every day of my life. So
because you don't have to go outdoors.
I don't, not really.
Nice.
Not unless I have to.
Well, in the
So-
summer, we want you to come out and enjoy it with us, okay?
in the summer, I'm slaving away, so
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly, I haven't been here very long, but I've loved it. It's been really great. I've been here maybe 4 years. I opened the shop at the same time, and it's been really just life affirming watching everybody come into my store and having all these people I had not met yet, people like Roger, who are just immediately super friendly, super helpful neighbors, people you want to know, people you get along with. And they come to you because you have an ice cream store.
It is nice to
And
be
they're
that
Great.
guy.
They're
happy.
happy. It's
Yeah.
great. People walk in. They're in a good mood when you come to ice cream.
We're going for ice
You know?
cream.
You sell happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not like
for
working
sure.
at the airport where people are already like just sour. They
Yeah.
walk in bad. It's great. It's wonderful. And you get to know them, you know? And I tell them, I'm not shy about telling people I live right here. I'm right here. I'm your neighbor. I'm right here, you know?
It's nice to know that there are small businesses owned by people who live in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So talking about old school, it doesn't get much more old school than living upstairs
Yeah.
from your shop.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. And it's a lot of families and repeat customers, I would imagine, because I had kids. All right, we're going to head over to Ed's for ice cream now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
sure every week there's the same groups coming and going. And
Well,
I've got a lot of regulars, especially now that I've been there a couple years. There are a lot of people I know, maybe not by name, but by order for sure.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk ice cream. Do you mind if we do that for a few minutes?
let's
Of
do it.
course. That's why I'm here.
Okay, what are your top 3 flavors?
Ooh. So is this personal preference?
No, by like as best you can guesstimate that's by popularity.
Oh, by popularity. Well, I have a far and away number one, burnt marshmallow, which is not everybody's go-to when you think about what's popular.
It is good. I can attest.
What?
Yeah.
I love this.
But people go nuts for burnt marshmallow, and
Yeah.
that's every location, not just me. Ed's, for some reason, we just took it and ran with it. It was made by accident, weirdly enough. One of our
penicillin.
chefs, Alan, burnt a bunch of sponge toffee. He was just going to make sponge toffee and sell it. You know, those
Yeah.
old school puffy little sponges.
Yeah, I
of
love
sugar.
that. Mm.
And
Get it in the
burnt
crevices of your teeth, and you're like,
Oh yeah. Oh, that one.
Yum, yum.
That's a dentist's best
Yeah.
friend. That
Oof,
stuff.
it totally is.
And he burnt a batch and decided, well, what if I just throw it into some ice cream, see what happens there? And magically, you know, it got a little soft. It melted. It looked beautiful. We do a few other things to it, of course. I don't want to give away the recipe or anything.
Right.
But it tasted just like burnt marshmallow. And we put it up. People tried it, and it was just a huge hit. We tried to take it away, and there was basically a riot going on. in the
That's
store.
amazing.
So we were like, okay, let's keep making it. And we have since then.
That's
I
incredible.
thought it was a teacher strike, but it was just a riot because he took away burnt marshmallow.
Just your garden variety ice cream riot.
Oh, that's too. Yeah, I remember the ice cream riots of 2012.
That's right.
Yeah. So okay, number 2 on that list then.
Number 2, I don't know if this is just my neighborhood, but pistachio gelato has been huge for me. Absolutely
Right.
huge. A lot of people, especially Europeans or people from other countries who grew up with pistachio as sort of a treat. It's not, I think, as popular in this country because, well, we can't grow pistachios, so
Yeah.
nobody really got used to them. But gelato specifically, pistachio is huge. And everybody comes in looking for it and kind of expects it, really.
Let's play a game. Let's both take a guess at what number 3 is, Roger.
Strawberry.
I was going to say chocolate.
No, you're both wrong.
Oh, of course we are.
It's actually cookies and cream. And I think that's probably the kids swaying that particular that particular flavor. Cookies and cream is a massive hit with kids. And it's recognizable because you put, you know, what looks like Oreos in it.
Yeah.
People don't even have to ask you what's in there.
That's
they
so funny.
they just go for it.
Yeah, it's so true.
And that's another major part about selling
That's
ice cream.
known in the
is-
ice cream business as the Oreo factor, right?
That's right. You have a name people recognize or some sort of brand. It sells itself. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre. It's funny. You
That's
don't
fun.
you don't have to explain anything.
Most unique flavors outside of burnt marshmallow, which is so amazing. What is the greatest invention of all time that you guys have put in the way of ice cream?
Ooh. Well, you know, it's tricky. You can't satisfy everybody with what you consider your pet projects or your beautiful creations. So it runs the gambit between the more popular stuff that I think is kind of funky, things like chocolate peanut butter fudge, where we put pieces of peanut butter fudge into chocolate ice cream kind of thing. And it's unusual, but it's still very much something you might buy at the supermarket if you saw it. You know, you don't necessarily need to try it to know what it tastes like.
Yep.
And then I like to get really weird on the other spectrum and try to do some sort of haute cuisine stuff. Last year a couple years ago, we made smoked salmon ice cream.
Wow.
And that was fun and not as weird as you think it tastes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smoked
You're
salmon.
really swimming upstream with that one.
Whoa. But I think you got me hooked.
Yeah.
Anybody
You want to
else?
know what's in it, right?
Anybody
It's
else?
like,
Yeah.
What is that?
What is that? Tell me what that
It's
is.
cool. Well, it's what it sounds like. We put some smoked salmon in there, and I had a little bit of cream cheese, dill, and lemon into my cream base,
Yeah.
and then I mix it in, and we sort of put pieces of smoked salmon into the ice cream as I'm extracting it. So you get chunks of the salmon, and then you get that dill, cream cheese, lemony flavor to follow it down with.
That does sound really yummy.
Yeah, it was.
Will you bring it back this year, you think?
It's tricky. Hard to sell a tub of that.
Right. Yeah.
But it's very easy to sell a pint of that because you can get people interested in, oh, do you want to try this?
Yeah.
And maybe, it's for a dinner party or something weird. Or,
It does sound like something you could use as an hors d'oeuvre at a dinner party. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's part of the fun of making your own ice cream is you can get weird with that stuff. Make a small batch, hand it out to friends, let them try it out
See what they think. Yeah.
and see what they think, see where it goes,
This is so
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, man. I didn't know that I was so into ice cream, but I really am for sure. I mean, at a base level, I know that I am, but it is really interesting that it's become such a haute cuisine approach to our artisanal ice cream. God,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
so hungry for ice cream
On
right
a
now.
personal note, I think I was probably your biggest customer when Jessica was pregnant.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I
think
remember those days.
I was there every day.
What was her preference?
Oh, we ran the gamut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
our freezer was filled with pints.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But burnt marshmallow was a huge hit
Yeah.
in our house.
I really think I need to get some of that right away, by the way. I think I might need to stop on the way home and just let's talk about that. Seasonal, you open all year round. How does your business operate?
Yeah, I'm open all year round, and all the Ed's locations are actually. We all do it. Part of it is just being the one who's open. I mean, most ice cream stores, even some of the chain ice cream stores, will shut down in the winter.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, realistically, who's walking in there for a cone? Not a lot of people. It makes financial sense to shut down, I'm not going to lie. But it's nice to be the one that's open because you get a bit of loyalty that way. You know, people remember that you're open. They know you're there. Like I said earlier, if there's a dinner party or some sort of something that they're planning for, they know they can come to you. And then when summer comes, you get rewarded because, well, they're going to come to you.
Yeah.
They're already there. The business has been established. And I mean, we make everything there so we can try to tailor it to what is going on. We do lots of seasonal flavors. I make tons of different kinds of ice cream for Christmas. We'll do pumpkin pie for the Halloween fall season.
Nice.
What do
you do for Valentine's?
For Valentine's, I make my own truffles, and we sell a box of truffles like
yeah.
that. That's another fun one because you can also experiment there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
know,
What
try
was
to
a fancy truffle you did this year?
I did Bailey's truffle.
Nice.
Which, I don't know if you ever were a fan of alcohol chocolates, but when I was little, I hated it.
Yeah, no, because it would, you'd be enjoying chocolate, and then all of a sudden, my mouth is on fire.
Yeah, and it was like you bite.
And I'm hammered.
Yeah, right? Like you just sort of like out of place to feel a shot of rum just kind of form in your mouth as you bite down on chocolate. But I liked to flavor things with alcohol without necessarily making it boozy. And so I wanted to try something that was a little lighter. So I sort of Bailey's and whipped it and made it a little more of a fluffy sort of nice flavor and just a hint of alcohol there. I've done other ones before. I've done champagne truffles, which is, fancy.
Is that the kind that pop in your mouth and now you got champagne, or did you also infuse that as part of the
it's just to sort of like flavor the truffle filling with that kind of thing. I mean, champagne's all sugar anyway, so fit pretty well. But
I love this guest.
Right?
Yeah, except now that I just want to go there directly.
I want ice cream.
Yeah. Now you had a really we were talking about life in general, and we do this on occasion, and you came up with a kind of a nice question for Mark about life and where it's headed for him.
Well, not just where it's headed, but where you've come from, right? So, I'm always interested in understanding a bit about what got you to this point and where you want to go in life. And so if I could ask you two questions, the first of which being the so-called time machine question. So if you had to go back in time, in your time machine, what would be the top three things that you would change?
And I assume it's changing my life. Like I can't go back in time and kill Hitler or something.
No.
None of that. Okay.
That's for another discussion.
Yeah, I think
like
that's
where that's going, but no, just
you just took it a lot deeper. Yeah, your life. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, like there's no particular moment in my life where I thought, man, I really screwed that up. If I could go back and fix that. Luckily, I feel like I don't have anything like that I truly regret and would want to go back and fix. But I think like a lot of people, if I were to somehow meet my younger self or go back, I would just have a lot of advice. I would have a lot of things to tell them, and it would mostly be along the lines of like, don't worry, you're stressing about the wrong thing. I find that the older I get, the more I realize that life is just a series of realizations that the things you thought about and the things you cared about and thought were really important are actually not that important at all. And you circle back to a lot of the same things, like your relationships, time you spend with your family, times you spend making yourself and others happy. So I think I would go back and probably tell myself to just relax, don't be so shy, don't be so conscious of what other people think. It doesn't really matter. Those things aren't important.
Nice.
Do you think that you would have listened to your time-traveled self if you went back with that advice?
Probably begrudgingly.
Or would you be like, Why am I looking at myself? What's going on?
After the initial like ID check and all that, you know,
right. Good.
Ask
good
them
idea.
where that scar is on my, you know.
Good idea. Good idea. Good
You gotta
thinking.
confirm. I mean, that's rule number one of
that's
time
fair.
travel, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
For sure.
But it's funny because we do all have this perspective on life as we get older, and we've done some things or whatever the case is, and you're just like, oh boy, I really put a lot of energy into nonsense, didn't I? Yeah. But I had to, I think. I think we all did to some degree.
But I like that. I think a lot of people waste too much time worrying or trying to solve problems that don't already exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
That's right. Why you invent? It's so funny. I have a friend, and he says to me sometimes, "Why you always get in the way of yourself?" Right? And it's a great question. You know, like just keep moving. You're doing fine.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the future now. Look, you're going to get married, young man.
I am next year.
So before you have kids, what's the one thing you got to do? You're going to get married. You can't fit anything in between here and getting married now. Sorry, but between
happening.
getting married and in the realm of marriage. Before kids, what do you got to do? The one thing you think you got to do?
Just travel as much as possible. I mean, it's a bit cliche, but I know it's literally the hardest thing to do when you have a kid.
Yeah.
It's because then you got to move that other kid around with you. It's tough. It's tricky, right?
Yeah.
I would travel as much as possible. And thankfully, the person I am marrying, she is she's got a travel bug like me. Like she'd love to see as many countries as possible. And we're both on the same page with that. So I think I would spend as much of my time and money trying to see the world.
That's cool.
Trying to get out there. Trying to see what other ice cream flavors are out there.
Yes,
I don't know. I got to travel and see.
You can write that off for business. That's good thinking right there.
right.
It's market research.
Where can we find out more about the shop?
Well, you can always visit us online at edsrealscoop.com. Follow our Instagram page, Facebook, any of the social medias. We've got a presence there. But honestly, the best thing to do if you're in Toronto, especially if you're in Etobicoke, Google us, find the address, come on down, get some ice cream. I give away copious samples, and I will not cut you off. I'm telling you right now, on air, I will not cut you off. Come in, and I will let you try whatever you want.
Never mind saying that on air, just with the two guys in the room. That sounds
I know. I've got
dangerous.
one foot out the door.
Thanks for joining us, my man.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Mark.
It was a lot of fun.
Listen, let's wrap it with a bit of info. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. What a great guest, man. Talking
Really great guest.
Oh, man, all I can think about now is that burnt marshmallow ice cream.
I know.
Okay, we got to get out of here. Subscribe to the podcast. Where can people get the mag?
They can pick it up at Starbucks or the beer store or your average mom and pop shop along the lakeshore, including Ed's Real Scoop in Mimico. And you can read it online at Etobicoke Lakeshore Press.com.
I'm a big fan of publisher Roger. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.